Harbor Freight has a tool that outperforms brands costing 5 times more. But 3 aisles over, there's another one that could literally fail mid-job and cost you way more than you saved. How do you know which is which? The Pittsburgh Quick Connect Compression Tester sounds promising on paper. Quick connection, easy readings. What could go wrong? Well, everything. Here's the brutal truth. This thing lies to you more than a politician during election season. The readings come out ridiculously low, making your perfectly healthy engine look like it's ready for the scrapyard. Makes sense, right? You're trying to diagnose a problem, not create one. But wait, it gets worse. After just a couple uses, the gauge becomes even less accurate. It's like watching your grandfather's hearing deteriorate, except this can't be fixed with a hearing aid. Then there's the fittings. They stick like peanut butter on dentures. What should be a quick 5-minute test turns into a wrestling match that would make WWE proud. Over 700 buyers gave it only 3.7 stars. That's lower than most Harbor Freight tools, and that's saying something. The build quality feels more like Fisher-Price than professional grade. Speaking of disappointing tools, let's talk about something that'll make an even bigger mess. This blast cabinet sounds great on paper, but reality hits harder than a sandblaster gone rogue. The moment you fire it up, sand and dust start leaking everywhere except where they should be. It's like trying to contain glitter at a craft party. Utterly hopeless. Then there's the visibility issue. Peering through that window feels like looking through a frosted shower door during a dust storm. You'll spend more time guessing than actually cleaning parts. Makes sense, right? But here's where it gets really frustrating. Over 1,500 buyers can't be wrong. They've given this thing just 3.7 stars. Many report missing or damaged parts straight out of the box. And when something breaks? Well, Harbor Freight doesn't sell replacement parts for this cabinet. One busted seal or cracked fitting means the whole thing becomes expensive garage decoration. Some brave souls attempt DIY fixes, but most admit it never quite works right. It's decent for occasional weekend projects, but don't expect professional results. Speaking of tools that promise more than they deliver, these chisels show up at your door duller than a butter knife at a nursing home cafeteria. Seriously, you'd have better luck carving wood with a spoon. The edges arrive chipped more often than a poker player's lucky coins, making every cut feel like you're wrestling a bear. But here's where it gets frustrating. They lose their edge faster than gossip spreads at Sunday service. Just minutes into your project, you're back to sharpening. Your hands will thank you for all those blisters. Not. The real kicker? That tempting low price becomes expensive fast when your chisel slips and gouges a chunk out of your expensive walnut board. Ouch. Over 200 users left reviews averaging 3.7 stars, and many admit they tossed these straight into the trash after one use. Even the positive reviews call them nothing special, which the reviewer speaks of as pretty terrible. Well, if hand tools are letting you down, what about power tools? Our next disappointment will really make your projects wobble. Well, here's where things get really wobbly. The Chicago Electric 10-inch miter saw earned its reputation the hard way, by cutting everything except straight lines. This thing shakes more than a wet dog in winter, making precision cuts about as likely as finding a unicorn in your garage. But here's the kicker. It's a complete lottery ticket. You might get one that works okay, but most folks end up playing musical saws with Harbor Freight's return counter. Some poor souls went through 3 of these before giving up entirely. Makes sense, right? The blade squaring system? Forget about it. Trying to get accurate angles is like asking your cat to do your taxes. Theoretically possible, but probably not happening. Many buyers joke that it's great exercise for your arms, constantly wrestling with adjustments that never quite stick. Old-school Harbor Freight expected you to become a mechanic just to use their tools. Unfortunately, this saw still carries that tradition. Most owners upgraded faster than teenagers change their minds about dinner. Speaking of tools that need constant babysitting, let's talk about their benchtop disasters. Well, let's talk about Central Machinery's benchtop tools. The ones that promise the world but deliver about as much punch as a wet napkin. These tools have earned a reputation for being the ultimate teasers. They look decent sitting there on your workbench, all shiny and ready to go. But here's where things get interesting. Fire one up for anything tougher than balsa wood, and you'll hear that telltale whining sound, like your neighbor's chihuahua complaining about the mailman. The motor just doesn't have the guts. Users consistently report the same frustrating experience. It almost works. Almost the kiss of death in the tool world, right? You need something that either works or doesn't. No middle ground when you're halfway through a project. The parts feel about as sturdy as a house of cards in a windstorm. Frequent adjustments become your new hobby, whether you want one or not. Even the newer models seem to inherit this family tradition of disappointment. Speaking of disappointing family traditions, wait until you hear about Central Pneumatic's air regulators. Central Pneumatic air regulators from Harbor Freight? Well, they're about as reliable as a weather forecast. The older models are absolutely notorious for failing to hold pressure, which means your spray gun starts sputtering like an old man trying to whistle. But here's the kicker. These things rarely survive more than a handful of uses before you're tossing them in the trash. It's like buying milk with yesterday's expiration date. The adjustment dials feel stickier than a church pew in August, making it nearly impossible to fine-tune your pneumatic tools properly. Many folks have jumped ship to the Merlin brand for air accessories, and, honestly, smart move. The performance difference is night and day. Then, there's that oddly shaped hardware that looks like something designed by someone who'd never seen an air regulator before. One reviewer compared using it to trying to land a whale instead of regulating air pressure. You'll often find these gathering dust on clearance racks, which tells you everything you need to know. Speaking of things that spark concern, let's talk about those bargain angle grinders. These budget angle grinders are like that friend who shows up to help you move, but disappears after carrying one box. Sure, they'll fire up for light tasks, but ask them to cut through anything tougher than aluminum foil, and they'll throw in the towel faster than a boxer facing Mike Tyson. The real kicker? The safety guards feel about as protective as a paper umbrella in a tornado. One user joked his guard was so flimsy, he worried more about the guard breaking than the actual grinding disc. Then there's the vibration issue. After 10 minutes of use, your hands will be shaking like you've had 6 cups of coffee. Not exactly what 70-year-old joints need on a Saturday morning project. But here's where things get interesting. While these bargain grinders might leave you disappointed, Harbor Freight's actually hiding some real gems that'll surprise you. Take their Hercules 20-volt cordless drill, which has been quietly embarrassing tools costing twice as much. The Hercules 20-volt cordless drill might just be Harbor Freight's biggest surprise. Well, at least when it comes to tools that actually work like they're supposed to. This little powerhouse has been giving the big boys a serious run for their money. We're talking DeWalt, Makita, Milwaukee, the whole expensive gang. But here's the kicker. It costs about half what those fancy brands charge, yet somehow manages to pack nearly the same punch. The 20-volt lithium battery means you're getting real torque for real jobs. Hanging heavy shelves? No problem. Building a deck? It'll handle that too. And for seniors dealing with arthritis or hand fatigue, The lighter weight is a genuine blessing compared to those boat anchor drills from years past. The battery life actually lasts through weekend projects without dying mid-screw. Makes sense, right? Plus, replacement batteries won't bankrupt you like some brands that shall remain nameless. But, speaking of surprises, wait until you hear what Bauer's reciprocating saw can demolish. Ever tried cutting through a stubborn 2x4 that laughs at your handsaw? Well, the Bauer reciprocating saw doesn't mess around. This thing slices through wood, metal, and PVC pipe like a hot knife through butter, making it the demolition king for weekend warriors. But here's what really gets folks excited: the variable speed control. Slow and steady for delicate trim work, or full throttle when you need to power through that rusty exhaust pipe. Smart engineering, right? The anti-vibration handle is where this saw really shines for us older folks. No more feeling like you're operating a jackhammer. Your hands and arms will thank you after tearing down that old deck. Many users compare it favorably to Milwaukee's pricier models. We're talking about tools that cost twice as much. The safety lock prevents accidental starts too, which beats explaining to your spouse why there's a new hole in the garage wall. Then there's another Harbor Freight gem that brings precision to your toolbox. Now here's where Harbor Freight surprises you in the best way possible. The Quinn Digital Torquay Wrench lets you set exact fastening levels with the precision of a Swiss watchmaker, but at a price that won't make your wallet weep. That audible beep when you hit the target Torquay? It's like having a little mechanical friend whisper, "Stop right there, buddy," before you over-tighten something expensive. The bright display means no more squinting at tiny numbers like you're reading the fine print on a prescription bottle. Many weekend warriors report flawless performance for years, even with regular use. Seniors particularly love how easy it grips without requiring the hand strength of a 19-year-old carpenter. Here's the kicker: this tool costs a fraction of what the fancy brands charge. Some folks say it transformed their confidence in automotive repairs completely. Makes sense, right? But wait until you see what's coming next. We're talking about a floor jack that's built like it could lift a small building. When your car's acting up and you need to get underneath, the Daytona 3-ton floor jack becomes your best friend, and possibly your lifesaver. This thing's built like a small tank that decided to become helpful instead of destructive. The solid steel frame doesn't mess around. It lifts smooth as butter, which beats wrestling with those wobbly discount jacks that make you question your life choices. Well, older adults especially love the padded saddle because it treats your car's paint job with respect. No more explaining mysterious dents to your spouse. But here's the real genius: side handles that actually make sense. Even if your back complains more than a cranky neighbor, you can maneuver this jack without throwing out your spine. Factory testing ensures it won't suddenly let go and turn your weekend project into an emergency room visit. Many owners call it their most trusted garage companion, lasting 10 years or more. The rapid pump design lifts your car in fewer strokes, saving both strength and sanity. Speaking of saving things, let's talk about breathing easier with your air tools. Air tools can make you feel like a pro mechanic, but only if your accessories actually work. The Merlin line swooped in to save Harbor Freight's reputation after their central pneumatic air stuff became a running joke among garage warriors. Here's what makes these accessories shine: they don't leak like a rusty bucket. The couplers snap on tight and stay that way. No more wrestling with stubborn fittings that make you sound like a sailor with a stubbed toe. The color-coded connectors are brilliant for those of us who can't remember where we put our reading glasses. Red means stop, green means go. Even your grandson could figure it out. Well, maybe not the teenager glued to his phone, but you get the idea. Professional shops have quietly started using Merlin parts because they're tired of cheap accessories failing mid-job. When mechanics trust something enough to bet their reputation on it, that says plenty. But speaking of things that last decades, let's talk about storage that'll outlive your mortgage payments. You know that feeling when you open a cheap drawer and it sounds like a dying cat? Well, the U.S. General tool chests laugh in the face of that nonsense. These storage beasts roll smoother than my grandfather's old Cadillac on fresh pavement. Here's what blows my mind. I've seen mechanics treat these things like punching bags for years, and they still look pristine. The drawers glide like they're riding on silk, even when packed tighter than a holiday suitcase. And those ball-bearing slides? Pure magic. But here's the kicker that really gets me excited. These chests come in more colors than a retirement community's golf cart collection. Want fire engine red? You got it. Ocean blue? Done. My neighbor painted his garage to match his orange chest. Now that's dedication. The price difference compared to Snap-on boxes will make you wonder if someone misplaced a decimal point. Same quality, fraction of the cost. Makes sense, right? Speaking of smart investments, let me tell you about some drill bits that'll change your whole perspective on precision work. When it comes to drill bits, most folks learn the hard way that cheap ones are about as useful as a chocolate teapot. But here's where Harbor Freight surprises everyone. The Warrior Titanium Drill bit set punches way above its weight class. That flashy gold coating isn't just for show. It's like giving your drill bits a suit of armor. They slice through wood smoother than a hot knife through butter and tackle mild steel without breaking a sweat. What really gets people excited? These little warriors stay sharp longer than your average grocery store bits. No more stopping mid-project because your bit decided to take an early retirement. The set covers all the common sizes you actually use, not those weird measurements that make you scratch your head and wonder who needs a 13/64 bit anyway. For the price, you're getting professional-level performance without the professional-level wallet damage. Even my neighbor Bob, who could mess up boiling water, managed to drill perfect holes in his deck project. That's saying something.